On this one, I'm going to talk about something super cool, and you have probably heard it. What you say is what you get. Pay attention into what you say, because what you say is what you get. You have probably heard already, you become what you think about most of the time. But when we actually hear that, we go straight up thinking about, oh, how our life is amazing, how we are a good person, how we can make more money, and so on. But within that statement, what you say is what you get, or you become what you think about most of the time, it's not actually talking about your conscious thought or your conscious thinking. Because there's this guy called Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he made a very interesting study where he realizes that on average, we spend like 5% of the time, that's where we are consciously thinking about something that we actually want. But the rest of the time, which is the 95% of the time, we are not aware of what we're thinking. So if you look at that, and if you take a normal day of 24 hours, and let us assume that you sleep 8 hours, which is too much. You should not be sleeping 8 hours a day. You should be sleeping within like 6 to 4 hours. It's enough. Why? I can also go into that. Because after that, something happens with your conscious mind that's not good. And I'm not going to dive into this in this episode, maybe on the next one. So if you go back then to those studies that the Dr. Bruce Lipton made, is on average of the time, you on a daily basis, let us assume, like I said, that you sleep for like 8 hours. So you sleep for 8 hours, meaning you have 16 hours left. And if you take that experiment of Dr. Bruce Lipton, it means that only 5% of the time you are aware of what you're doing, which is around 40 minutes. So if you take 60 hours, around like 40 minutes, that's where you are aware of what you're doing, aware of what you're thinking. And the rest of the time, you're just on autopilot. You don't even know what the fuck you're thinking about. You don't even know what the fuck is it that you are doing. And that is the point. Because what you say is what you get. It's not what you say on a conscious level. Because when you're talking, you are actually saying what you've been thinking. And most of the time, you're not even aware what you're saying until someone points it out. You say, what did you just say? Oh, I can't do it, or it's so hard, it's like this, it's bad, it's this. And I completely get it, because right now with the positive thinking mindset that people are trying to get into, it is to just run away from what's actually going on here. It's like to see something that's bad and say, no, it's not bad, it's good. It's just like avoiding shit. So unless you want to become a avoider, which is just going to make your life even more miserable, then you should consider looking into, okay, what is it that I think about most of the time? And the problem with that is you won't be able to actually get to the root cause of it, because you're not even aware. Because if you take the example of the Bruce Lipton, it's only around 5% of the time you are aware of what you're thinking, which is not enough. And the rest of the time you're just on autopilot. And that's also why TechnoTutor that I talk about here is super key to that, because it allows you to actually see what's going on at an unconscious level. Because yes, you get what you think about most of the time. Because let me say something to illustrate the point. Because we have said that what you think is what you get. You become what you think about most of the time. And then later on, a person, when they hear that, they now run around and try to like think about something positive. But what they don't consider, or what's never considered, is what is happening at the unconscious or subconscious level. And a good point is, you have already seen that sometimes you go and talk to someone, you're scared of the person, you're shy, you're this, you're that, and so on. But you push yourself to go and talk to the person. And even when you're talking to the person, you're still running behind the scene. Oh my God, what are they going to think about me? Or what are they going to say? And so on. But at the same time, you're consciously thinking about what you say to the person. I like you, you're such a good person, maybe we should go out together, and so on. You're saying those things, you're still thinking about them when you're saying them. But on a subconscious and unconscious level, there are all those points going on. Oh my God, they're going to say no. Are they going to like me? All those thoughts are actually creating your life. Those are the most important one, actually creating things in your life. And this even goes even further, because sometimes your thinking, your thoughts are so automated so that you are not even aware of them, you are not even conscious of them. And you're going to see that some people, sometimes they're going to just look at you and say, hey, what's going on? You will say, what do you mean? Because they will just notice the way you behave, or the way you are walking, or the way you are doing things. They will just notice that something is different, because that's unconscious thinking. Your unconscious thinking is directly reflected on your physical body. That's why sometimes you just like start hiding yourself and you don't even know why you're doing that. It's because back in there's a thought that's being kicked, that's being triggered. That's why you're behaving like that. So all those thoughts are the one actually creating your life. So when it says what you say is what you get, those are actually the one being talked about. And if I then take it a little bit further into this statement, what you say is what you get, think about, for example, you start something new and you say, oh my God, it's hot, right? So when you already say it's hot, and also depending on where you grew up, depending on how you have been programmed around, for example, the word hard. Because most of the time, if you're like myself, I grew up in an environment where when the word, oh, it's hard was mentioned, that means it's so hard, give up, don't do it, it's not going to work anyway, so don't try. So meaning when you say something is hard, right away those programs get kicked in. And now as an adult, you may want to try it, you may want to do it, but the moment you say, oh my God, it's hard, all those programs kick in. So that's why you're going to see yourself doing something so much to even not get a result, or something that you could have done easily, you will take so much time doing it, because when you said, oh, it's hard, all those programs kicked in. So you have to fight those programs first before you can get that thing done. But if you were to change, for example, just your saying, instead of saying, oh, it's hard, to say, oh, I'm not competent in doing it, I don't have the skills yet to do it, it's a completely different game. And like I said, it also depends on where you have been programmed, how you grew up, how you've been programmed, because the program that you have received determines how you live your life. The way you understand things determine how you behave. And depending on then how you were programmed, it then determines how you think, and also how the words that you are saying are actually creating your life. Because yes, what you say is what you get. But now, are you even aware? Are you even conscious about what you're saying? The answer is no. That's why you don't even know what's going on in your life. That's why you don't know what to change. Yeah, that's why you have no idea about what to do, because you don't know what's going on inside of you, because it's all happening at an unconscious level. And until you actually go back to that state, change your programming, change your vocabulary, I don't know what to say. That's why I always talk about reprogramming yourself using TechnoTutor to change your pattern, to change your vocabulary, to reactivate your natural learning ability, because that's the only way that you can actually go back to those patterns at the unconscious level to see them. But what I can also do, if I'm talking with you, I can see your pattern through your words, through the words that you're using. I can see, oh, my friend, you're trapping yourself here. Because there's also this saying from Jesus that with your words you will be free, or with your words you will be condemned. No, that's not how he said it. He said by the words you will be freed, and by the words you will be condemned. And I say now, because I'm Jesus, by your words you will be freed, or by your word you will be condemned. The way you use your words either free you or condemn you, because you can leave heaven here. But the way you construct your sentences, that comes from how you think. And how you think comes from your beliefs. And your beliefs comes from your programming. And your programming comes from your vocabulary. So how long are you going to keep on condemning yourself? You can set yourself free, but you first have to discover what patterns are you participating into. What kind of program do you have at an unconscious level? What do you think about most of the time? The easiest way to actually see what you think about most of the time is just to look at your life, because what you say is what you get. The way you think is how you behave. Just look at your life. That's a pretty good indicator of what you think about most of the time. And the next point that I want to cover is actually something super good, because we have this community, this awesome community called Self Perfected, where you can join, and there we talk about some pretty good things. And there's this saying that we have there: you become the lowest version of yourself that you accept and tolerate. You don't become your best version of yourself, but you become the lowest version of yourself that you accept and tolerate. And put it simple, you can put it simple like this, that what I tolerate is what I become. I become what I tolerate. Because we always have these ideas of, I want to be like this, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be, I don't know, I want to change my life, I want to be the best version of myself. And we have those things that we say we want to get, or we want to one day get them. But at the same time, we have these lower versions of ourselves where we actually still tolerate them. And you can say it like that. You can see someone fat and not in shape, and you can say to them, oh, like, you can, they really want to do something else, like, I want to lose weight and so on. But at the same time, they like eating junk food. They don't really like to move themselves that much. And for them, they are tolerating that. And therefore, regardless of how much they actually want to improve their physique, they are not going to change it, because they still tolerate this version of themselves that just eat chips, like eat junk food and so on. So as long as you keep tolerating that version of yourself, you will never become this version of yourself. And that's the key. So you don't like become the best version of yourself. You become the lowest version of yourself that you accept and tolerate. And that part is super key, because instead of wanting to become the best version of yourself, look at what do you still tolerate that you shouldn't. What is it that you keep on accepting that you know for a fact that it's not best for you? Because the moment you stop tolerating those things and doing something about them, then you're gonna get closer to actually becoming the best version of yourself. Because you cannot become the best version of yourself when you're still tolerating the lowest shitty version of yourself, right? So that's like a pretty deep one to actually understand what that means. And a lot of people actually get pissed off by that, because they say, that's so negative. The world is negative, and you trying to pretend that you're positive doesn't work with me, because I know that deep inside of you, you suffer. Deep inside of you, you're miserable. So I don't need that bullshit. I don't need to pretend. I don't need to pretend as if I'm positive. The world is full with negative, and if you can channel that negative energy and put it into use, you're going to become unstoppable. But instead of avoiding what's actually creating chaos in your life, stop avoiding, start taking responsibility, start doing something about it, because that's the only way to actually change it. And if you do not actually look at it so that you can change it, you will never change it. You will keep on tolerating the lowest version of yourself. You will keep on just condemning yourself with your words, because what you say is what you get. So for you watching this, what is it that you're still tolerating that you know for a fact that you should not? How aware are you of your thoughts on a day-to-day basis? Or are you just like a robot, just going along with them? Or are you actually paying attention? And I know it's going to be a little impossible if you don't have TechnoTutor, because everything is so automated you don't even know, right? Too bad. So which one is it? And how long are you going to keep on tolerating that version of yourself?